Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into something really cool, a brand new prompting guide for what's just around the corner in AI. We're talking about GPT-5. We're going to look at what it actually takes to get good at using this next wave of AI. So let's start with this big question. What if an AI could do more than just answer you? What if it could actually act for you? See, this isn't just about making better chatbots. We're talking about a whole new frontier here. The goal is to build an AI that can be a true agent. Something that gets a complex goal and then just goes off and does all the little steps to make it happen, all by itself. Okay, so what is the big deal here? What makes this new model so different? Well, it's a huge leap in something the guide calls agentic performance, and what that really means is it's not just smarter, it's way more capable of actually doing stuff. So if you look at the key advancements, yeah, it's getting better everywhere. The boost in raw intelligence and its coding ability, that's huge, for sure. But the two things you really need to pay attention to are agentic task performance and steerability. It's this combo, the AI's ability to actually use tools and do things, plus our ability to control it with precision, that's the real game changer. This brings us to a really important idea. To master this new kind of AI, you have to think differently. It's not just about asking a good question anymore. It's more like learning to conduct an orchestra, or maybe fly a really complex drone. It's all about finding that perfect balance and giving it super clear directions. And the key concept you've got to get your head around is this thing the guide calls agentic eagerness. Just think of it like a dial that controls how proactive the AI is. You can crank it all the way up, and you get this autonomous partner that just keeps going. Or you can turn it way down, and you get a more cautious assistant that pretty much waits for you to say go. And this is where it gets really interesting. Check this out. You can see just how much control we have now. Over on the left, for that cautious assistant vibe, you're using phrases like, use a maximum of 2 tool calls, right? You're keeping it on a tight leash. But then on the right, for the proactive partner, it's the total opposite. Never stop when you encounter uncertainty. It's the same AI, but just by changing a few words, you create 2 completely different personalities to work with. It's pretty wild. Okay, so theory is one thing, but how does this actually work in the real world? Let's look at a great example from the AI code editor Cursor. They got to test this stuff out early, and they had to figure out, okay, how do we handle this brand new, super powerful AI personality, but in a coding context? So they ran into this classic problem. The AI's text updates were way too chatty and just getting in the way. But at the same time, the actual code it wrote was, well, it was too short, kind of hard to read. Their solution, though, was really clever. First, they used a setting to just turn down the verbosity for everything, making the text nice and concise. But then they added a specific instruction right in the prompt to override that, telling the AI, hey, be super descriptive, but only for the code. And this one little instruction, aimed just at the code, completely changed how the AI behaved. By telling it to avoid so-called code golf, those overly clever one-liners, it stopped trying to be smart and started trying to be helpful. It went from writing confusing code to creating clear, readable solutions that a human could actually work with. Basically, it turned the AI into a much better teammate. All right, so that precision we just saw, that leads us to the next really, really critical point. With an AI this powerful, it follows your instructions with almost surgical precision, which is great. I mean, that's what we want, right? But it's not so great when you accidentally tell it to do 2 different things at once. Just take a look at this prompt. It's for a medical scheduling assistant. And, at first glance, it seems totally fine, but there is a huge conflict hidden in here. The first rule is crystal clear. Never schedule an appointment without explicit patient consent. Okay, makes sense. But then look at the second rule for urgent cases. Auto-assign the earliest same-day slot without contacting the patient. Wait a minute. It's telling the AI to do 2 completely opposite things. And this is where the new power creates a new problem. An older, less precise AI might just, guess. Maybe it would ignore one of the rules. But this new model, it's smart enough to see the conflict. It actually understands that you've given it an impossible task. So instead of just acting, it gets stuck. It'll waste time and cycles trying to figure out how to obey 2 contradictory orders. The fix, once you see the problem, is actually pretty simple. You just clarify the rules. You change without contacting to something like after informing, and you create a very clear exception for emergencies. But here's the really important takeaway. The process of trying to prompt the AI actually exposed a hidden flaw in the original human logic. Fixing the prompt didn't just fix the AI's behavior, it made the whole system safer and more reliable. It really proves that with this kind of AI, clarity is absolutely everything. Okay, so we've seen how we can tune the AI, how we can be super precise with our instructions, but I saved the best for last. What we're about to talk about is probably the most futuristic, almost mind-bending idea in this whole guide. So, what if you could ask the AI to help you talk to the AI? It sounds a little crazy, right? But it's a real technique called meta-prompting. You're literally turning the AI's own intelligence back on itself. You're using its own powerful brain to help you get better at telling it what to do. And this template here shows you exactly how you do it. You can literally say to the AI, okay, here's a prompt I wrote. Here's what I wanted to happen, and here's the wrong thing that you actually did. Now, what small changes would you make to my prompt to get the right result? I mean, just think about that. The AI becomes a partner in crafting its own instructions. So what does all this mean? It means that as these AI models get more and more powerful, our most important skill isn't just using them anymore. It's about how well we can instruct them, how clear we can be. We're not just users. We're becoming its teachers, its tuners, its collaborators. And that leaves us with one last big question to think about. If we are teaching an AI how to improve its own instructions, who's really learning faster here? Them or us?